How are we doing this afternoon? Good. Oh, come on. Good. How are we doing this afternoon? Great. All right. Well, listen, thank you so much for the opportunity to come. Sean, thank you to speak on the culture of hospitality. As he mentioned, I've been operating about 18 years. Really do love what I do. It's great to be able to get up in the morning and love what you do. I'm just very grateful for the opportunity to serve at Chick-Fil-A. So I want to start with this question. I know that the title of this is How to Create a Culture of Hospitality, but who in here thinks that we execute perfect customer service, perfect hospitality all day, every single day? No hands. Well, we don't. You know, we're certainly not perfect at it. Are we passionate about hospitality? Yes. Are we perfect at it? Do we excel at it 100% every day? No. We also have opportunity to grow and get better in this area. And I guess my main takeaway with that point is understand that the only way to keep growing in any area is to understand that we never arrive. So I wanted to make sure that I relayed that point. Vince Lombardi once said that if we strive for perfection, then maybe we can achieve excellence. So hopefully we're all moving closer in that direction. So what I want to do as far as hospitality is concerned in Chick-fil-A is I want to break it down into three categories. One, I want to talk about our culture, the Chick-fil-A culture. Then I want to talk about our selection process or our people. And then we'll dig in deeper into the concepts behind our service, how we serve our customers, and then probably one of the most overlooked opportunities is serving each other within an organization. So hopefully you'll be able to apply some of these concepts to whatever it is that you do, ministry function, whatever capacity that you serve in business. So let's dig in. Let's talk a little bit about our culture, Chick-fil-A's culture. Give you a little history of Chick-fil-A. Truett Cathy is the founder of Chick-fil-A, but it didn't start as Chick-fil-A. He actually, back in 1946, he opened up a little tiny restaurant called the Dwarf Grill, and that was in 1946, and it was about what you would expect to see. I mean, it was actually probably half the size of this room. Really tiny. Had little 3-bar stools, a couple of tables and chairs, and that was basically it. And served about what you would expect, hamburgers and shakes and fries and so forth. And that's pretty much what he did. Now, during that time, in the 40s and into the 50s, he actually conceived the idea of deboning a breast of chicken, putting it between two buns, and serving it. He called it the chicken steak sandwich. And so he really is credited with inventing the Chick-fil-A, the chicken sandwich. Now, some people might say, yeah, right, I invented the hamburger, but he really is the one that pioneered the concept of the chicken sandwich. So all throughout the 50s and pushing the 60s, he started noticing that this sandwich became one of his best sellers at his little restaurant that he had. He thought, I might be onto something here. So in 1963, he patented the concept and called it the Chick-fil-A sandwich. And he started farming it out to different businesses, different restaurants in the area. By the way, there in Atlanta, Georgia, I didn't mention that. But he noticed that when he would go check on the quality, that sometimes it'd be sitting under a heat lamp for 3, 4, 5 hours, and it was just not good quality. So he brought it back in. He said, I'm not going to do that. I want to protect my product. And so in 1967, he approached Greenbrier Mall in Atlanta, Georgia, and told them, I would like to open up a restaurant and call it Chick-fil-A based around this sandwich and open it up in a mall. And the mall looked at him like he was crazy and said, well, who would want to go to the mall to eat? That's a crazy idea. And so he talked him into it, and so he opened that in 1967. And so he actually pioneered the food court concept. So, when you see Park Meadows Mall or Chapel Hills, you see the food court. Truett Cathy, the founder of Chick-fil-A, actually pioneered that concept. So, the business grew. He started placing Chick-fil-A's throughout malls all throughout the 70s and into the early 80s. And I'd like to say that the rest is history. But no, and this is where I'm getting into our culture. Our culture really was generated. So in late 70s and the early 80s, Chick-Fil-A really had quite a bit of growth. But in 1982, the bottom fell out of the economy. Chick-fil-A just opened up a corporate office and really got a little bit over leveraged, went into debt. And so the bottom fell out of the economy, and we started having significant sales decreases in 1982. And it didn't look good. The business really didn't look good. I thought we were going to go under. And so in 1982, the executive team went on a retreat to decide, okay guys, what are we going to do? It's not looking good. So they went on a retreat, had that conversation, but in the middle, Dan Cathy, who is Truett's son, said, time out. Guys, I have a question. Why are we here? Are we just selling chicken? Is it just about the Chick-fil-A sandwich? And out of that question, the corporate purpose was born. And that's to glorify God by being a faithful steward of all that's been entrusted to us and to have a positive influence on all who come in contact with Chick-fil-A. So that is really a good description of what our culture is about. It really developed into a philosophy, who we are. That's why every store is dedicated to the Lord. Even the one over here on South Nevada that just opened. You still have to go to Open Jobs. By the way, I'm the operator of the one on Garden of the Gods. But any Chick-fil-A is going to serve you well here in town. But that's why every store is dedicated to the Lord, including that one just about a month ago. That's why we're closed on Sundays. You know, the heart of Chick-fil-A is that we believe that biblical principles make good business principles. Now, we don't wear that on our sleeve. We don't have any special hiring requirements. But it does mean that we look at people differently. We really believe that every life has a story. Okay, what do I mean by that? Now, I know that we probably serve between 3,000 to 5,000 people a day just in my restaurant. And I know that most people that come in, they just want their food fresh, fast, and hot, and want to get back to work or get home. We get that. But maybe there's just that one or two people throughout the day. My wife would argue that it's more people, and she's probably right. You know, maybe that they just found out that their spouse has cancer. Maybe they just found out they lost their job, got laid off, or maybe their son or daughter, maybe they just got deployed, and so maybe just that little extra touch that we can, that extra smile, just a little above and beyond, maybe it's possible we could make a difference in the life of someone. So we really do believe that every life has a story. And I want to show you this quick video here to kind of give you an idea. This is a part of our training, by the way. Every life has a story. I'm going to give you an example of that where, yes, like I said, fast food people just want their food fresh, fast, and hot. But I have multiple examples of where we've actually been able to make a difference in the life of many individuals. I'll give you an example here in a few minutes. The culture of hospitality really does start at the top and works its way down. Dan Cathy, he's the same one that asked the question back in 1982, why are we here? Truett's son. He's now the president of Chick-Fil-A. And when he comes into Colorado Springs and he visits a restaurant, he'll be opening the door for me. He won't let me open. It's like, okay, I'm thinking, okay, this time I'm going to beat him to the door, And so he'll pull a chair out for us and my wife. I have to beat him before he pulls it out for my wife as we go out to eat. Now, when he goes in our restaurant, he'll go grab a towel and start cleaning tables and talking to guests. And here's the most telling example. When he has a name tag, it doesn't say Dan Cathy, company president. It says Dan Cathy, customer service. So I just think that is really, really telling. As far as culture is concerned, one thing I want to reiterate to you is culture change doesn't necessarily happen overnight, especially the larger the organization. If you're wanting to shift your culture into more of a, growing in the area of hospitality or customer service, depending on the size, be patient. It may not happen overnight. I remember when I first became an operator in 2000, I think it was the seminar of 2001 or 2002, Truett Cathy, when he's speaking, he was introducing the concept. When we say thank you, when a guest says thank you, what do we say? My pleasure. And so he introduced that back in 2001. It took a couple of years for the operators and the rest of Chick-Fil-A to say he really means it, that this is where he's headed. And so it will take a while depending on the size of your organization, so be patient. So that's a little bit of a snapshot of the Chick-fil-A culture to kind of give you an idea of who we are and what drives us and so forth. Now I want to talk about the selection process or our people. Customer service, hospitality begins with having the right people on the bus. Whenever we opened this Chick-fil-A here in 2009 here in Garden of the Gods, we received probably between 500 and 700 applications. We interviewed well over 200 individuals, and at that time we settled on about 75 staff. Today we have about 100 staff. We have a group interview about every 3 to 5 weeks. We have 4 to 6 leaders of our leadership team, our director level leadership team that helps lead that. During the group interview, we stress our culture, and by the way, we invite probably 15 to 25, if I didn't say that. And we stress our culture, what they're signing up for, and if we are, of course, we want to know if they're a good fit for us. But one thing that we, going through what we expect of them, we want to make sure that we are a good fit for them as well, that it is a two-way street. We've had candidates that go, yeah, I'm not sure if that's what I want to sign up for. Great, there's nothing wrong with that. And I'm glad to find that out now before they're with us a couple of months and we find out it's not a good fit. Then the leadership team will sit down afterward and we'll have a discussion. Did you lie? Did you not lie? I really like that person. I'm not sure that they're good. We have that discussion, then invite them in for an actual one-on-one, face-to-face interview. So being selective is crucial. I know sometimes in the labor market, you're like, no. Be selective on who you bring. You'll be glad that you are. So what do we look for? Obviously, we look for an easy smile. We look for somebody that has an engaging personality, somebody that's bright-eyed, leaning forward, that type of individual. We can train just about anybody to push a button on a register. We can train just about anybody to put the 2 crucial pickle slices on the Chick-fil-A sandwich. 3 if they're small. And we can train that, but we cannot necessarily train the attributes that we're looking for. They already need, it really starts when they're about that tall, as they're being raised and so forth. So the attributes that we're looking for need to already be there. And so we take those attributes and combine them with who we are, Chick-fil-A, and it really does produce a winning combination. Most people, they really want to be a part of something good. I mean, within any organization, people want to be a part of something that's moving and shaking and you know, on the cutting edge, if you will. But what we look for, we really look for someone who not only wants to be a part of something good, but we look for individuals who want to be the reason why we excel in the industry. We want individuals who will think out of the box. I know that, yeah, we hire 16, 17-year-olds and college people, but that doesn't matter. We look for individuals who think out of the box, that want to be empowered to help us improve. You know, here at Chick-Fil-A on Garden of the Gods, virtually everything that you see going on in my restaurant, as far as policies, procedures, or anything, any improvements that we have had very little to do with me. It had to do with our leadership team, all the way down to the team member that might have been with us for 2 weeks. We really think out of the box. How can we improve? Do you see an opportunity where we can get better? So it could be a team member that has been with us for 30 seconds. They might say, you know, what if we take the remote and maybe put it over here so that, or whatever it is, it might not be a good idea, but it might be a good idea. Because last time I checked, I'm not the smartest guy in the room. And so if we can empower our team to think of ways for us to improve in any area, and certainly in the area of hospitality. So again, the selection process, who you bring on your team, is huge in creating that culture of hospitality. So now what I'm going to spend most of the time on is our concepts behind service. I'm going to talk about serving customers and then serving each other. So what is our approach to serving customers? It really starts day one with training. I know a lot of times it's, you know, it's tempting to just say, okay, here's a register, you do this, do that, here's a sandwich, this is how you build it. Good luck. You know, we don't do that. Before an individual, a trainee, a new employee touches any food product, touches a register, they go through about a 4 to 5 hour orientation. And by the way, training is constant. I'm still in training. We're always in training, by the way. But before they touch any food products, they get a very in-depth orientation. So during that orientation is where we talk about customer service. So our goal at Chick-Fil-A is this, and that is to create raving fans. Okay, what is a raving fan? I think we can all kind of get a visual of what, you know, when I say raving fan, something popped in your head, like I think of a Broncos game, the guy that has the face paint, that's right. And that's probably how we look at or describe a raving fan. But how do we describe a raving fan? And the way we describe it is someone that comes more often, that pays full price, they don't need a coupon, and they'll tell us and others about Chick-fil-A. That's how we define a raving fan. I happen to be a raving fan of Starbucks. I love Starbucks. I'm ashamed to say how. I know. I'm ashamed to say, oh, do we have coffee people? Yeah. I can't stand Starbucks. It's terrible. No, I'm kidding. I want to come to try. Excuse me one second. But anyway, you kind of get the idea of what I mean by raving fan. So how do we create a raving fan? We break it down into 3 pillars. One is operational excellence. The second is second mile service. And the third is to create an emotional connection with our guests and with the community. So I'm going to break those down here real quick. So operational excellence, the first tier in creating raving fans. We have 4 tiers under, I call it OE, operational excellence. One is taste of food, then it's cleanliness, speed of service, and then having attentive and courteous employees. I'm going to just run through these real quick for the sake of time. Okay, taste of food. Operational excellence, we call it the first mile. Taste of food. Now, if we get back rubs in the dining room, roll out the red carpet, wash cars in drive-thru, that doesn't matter if the food's not good. We are, and make no mistake, we are in the chicken business. Yes, we are in the people business, but we are in the chicken business. And people will not come back just because of your great service. They're going to come back for the food. Some people will take a little, they'll put up with a little bit of not stellar service if the food is good. So the food is very important. I won't bore you with the policies and procedures and how passionate we are and all that, but we are passionate about the taste of our food. Secondly, again, talk about operational excellence, is cleanliness. I love a clean restaurant. You come into my restaurant, you go into our restrooms, you're not going to see any mop residue over in the corner just because we slop a mop around at night. We scrub every inch of the store at least once a day, and the kitchen twice a day. You shouldn't see water spots on the mirror. The chrome, where the chrome meets the porcelain on the urinal and the toilet, you're not going to see a ring around where you see the chrome meet the porcelain. We're constantly wiping that, and we don't have to scrub it because we're always wiping it. The sink where the chrome, the faucet, you're not going to see buildup on that because we're always. Our chrome in our restroom looks brand new. We've been open now 8 years at this location. We don't use the green scrubby. I tell our staff, no green scrubbies, because that will make it look hazy. Okay? That chrome looks shiny. So every team member, they understand when you go in the restroom, if there's any debris on the floor, the water spot, the mirror has water spots, wipe the chrome with a paper towel, and if everybody teams up and does that, our restrooms stay clean. Of course, the dining room, everything is the same. Now, it is hard to keep our restaurant clean because, again, with the volume of guests that come in, I mean, we have 3 hospitality people during our lunch rush. That's all they're doing is have hospitality and keeping the restaurant clean. So cleanliness is very important. And the third element within operational excellence, again, we're only talking about the first mile here. Then it's speed of service. Now, later I'm going to talk about connecting with guests, the whole emotional connections piece, but make no mistake, we are a quick service restaurant, so we have to be fast. People want to know, if they come in our drive-thru, at 6 o'clock in the morning, they need to get to work. They need to have confidence that they're not going to get stuck behind somebody because we're slow. And then we cause them to be late for work. So speed is very important. We probably, between 12 and 1, which is obviously our peak hour at lunch, we'll move between 150 and 180 cars in an hour. It's just always moving. And so if the cars, like if we get the kitchen maybe, because it does happen, the kitchen gets behind or we get, and that's, I just know it can be frustrating to individuals, so we're very focused on speed. And then the fourth element under operational excellence is having attentive and courteous team members. So what does that look like? We call it the Core 4. So again, I'll talk about our training. So again, this is orientation, the first day of training. We have a discussion about the Core 4. And first one is create eye contact. We expect our team members to have eye contact with our guests. Share a smile. Everybody loves, smiling is contagious. And it's not fake. But that, again, back to who do you bring on? So years ago, probably 15 years ago, I remember interviewing a guy, and he goes, I said, I noticed you're not, talk to me about smiling. Hey. He's like, I haven't smiled in over 3 years. I thought, gee, when can you start? Yeah. I'm like, are you thinking so Core 4, create eye contact, share a smile. Then speak with an enthusiastic tone. It's probably nothing worse than going to a speaker box in a drive-thru at a quick service restaurant and you hear, And so we train our team members to have enthusiasm in your voice. Hi, welcome to Chick-Fil-A. My name is Randy. How can I serve you? And of course, face to face. We want our guests to hear a smile in our voice. And then fourth on the Core 4 is stay connected to make the experience personal. Again, it might be something like, hey, you're a Bronco fan. You think Peyton Manning, you think he's going to win a Super Bowl or whatever, maybe finding a way to connect. Now, what's hard is balancing that dynamic with speed of service. Have fun with that. We are challenged with that all the time. And so that's kind of a difficult rub that we do experience. So that's operational excellence. Now let's move on to second mile service. Operational excellence, we consider that the first mile. Now let's talk about the second mile. How do we define second mile service? There's that biblical reference about the Jewish man going the second mile for the centurion when he didn't have to. And so do we have to provide second mile service? Our food's pretty good, so probably not, but we choose to do it. We want to go above and beyond. That's how we define second mile service, is to go above and beyond what would be expected at a quick service restaurant. You know, if you go to a 5-star resort like the Ritz-Carlton, or if you go and you take a date to a really nice restaurant and you pay $100 or so, there's an expectation of service. If you get treated indifferently, or, you know, you're like, I just dropped $100 and you guys are treating me like this. Now, conversely, if you pay $7 at a quick service restaurant and you're treated with indifference, it's like, okay, well, I just spent $7. I get it. It's a fast food restaurant. So what we want to do is we want to take the elements that are in a 5-star resort, if you will, like the Ritz-Carlton, and insert those into the quick service restaurant setting. So there are specific above and beyond behaviors that we try to demonstrate. We're not perfect at it, but we try to demonstrate. So what are some of those behaviors? First of all, we deliver meals to tables, even though we're a quick service restaurant. Some Chick-Fil-A's will deliver meals just for high needs guests like the disabled or elderly or mom with small children. Here in Colorado Springs, our operator team has decided we're going to deliver every tray for every meal. So you'll be asked, you'll be given a table marker, you go sit down and we bring your food out. And our goal, we're not perfect at it, our goal is to have it ready for you so you don't have to get up and go get napkins or sauces or ketchup. We try to do that, not perfect at it, but we try to do that as well. But we deliver meals to the table. We also do table touch-ins. So we'll go out and refresh beverages, and hopefully now, again, when you have the volume of customers that we have a day, it's hard for us to get to everybody. Even though we have 3 people in hospitality, there'll be people that'll get up, you know, on their own. So we can't get everybody, but we'll really try. And it's interesting with that dynamic too, is not only do we refresh beverages, but we also want to clear your tray. We try not to call it trash. We want to clear your tray for you. And one thing that we've been discussing as a leadership team, we haven't done this yet, we've only talked about it, we want to do this, is again, wanting to try to continuously improve, is I'm challenging our leadership team, if there's like a mom with small children out there and they're in the middle of their meal, to walk up to that mom, in case we miss her and she gets up on her own and we're not able to get to her, so walk up to her and say, hey, by the way, when you get done, please just leave this, just leave it. You know, we'll get it for you. I'll get it for you. I'll be back. Don't feel like you have to clean this up. We'll take care of it. 9 times out of 10, the mom will be, no, really, it's our pleasure to do it. Please just enjoy your meal, enjoy the rest of your day. I got this. Now, I haven't done it yet, but that's what I'm hoping to do here in the next few days or weeks. Another behavior, above and beyond behavior that we do, is carry large orders to the vehicle. If somebody pays $80, $100, $200 for a large meal, we want to carry that order out to the car. Now, there's a certain way to do it. If you have the bags in your hand and you go, would you like me to carry this out? You're basically saying, you really don't want me to carry this out, do you? So there's an art to it. So what we train our team to do is you grab the bags, you go, I'm going to go ahead and carry this out to your car. You start walking towards the door. They're like, okay. And they'll just follow you, and then they'll lead you out to their car. So again, the little behaviors really make a difference in creating that culture of hospitality. Now here's an important one. I would put a little question mark on this element. And what I mean by that, what we do is we empower our team to be proactive when you see an opportunity to serve a guest. Now, if you're back in the kitchen, we have a specific recipe for our Chick-Fil-A sandwich, for our salads and so forth. Back when we served coleslaw, there was a specific recipe for our coleslaw. You can't monkey around with that recipe. However, we do want you to think out of the box as a team member, to be proactive if you see an opportunity, to obey your warm-hearted impulses. It could be something as simple as opening a door. It could also, now we've done this before, probably 5 or 6 times or more in the 18 years I've been an operator, we've changed tires in the parking lot. For someone to come in, I've got a flat. we'll have our team member go out there and change the tire in the parking lot. On a day, no, it's not quite raining now, but on a day that, this is probably one of my favorite things to do. I love doing this. Don't be surprised if it's ever pouring down rain, that we will have an umbrella. We keep them in our closet. We'll have an umbrella, and we'll start walking guests out to their car with the umbrella. That's probably one of the most fun things to do, because people are like, I can't believe you guys are doing it. You know, and it is, listen, there is truly joy in exhibiting above and beyond hospitality, especially when people don't expect it. It's so much fun. There really is joy behind it. If you can get that communicated to your team and get them to buy into that, it's really huge, because it really is a lot of fun to do it. There was one time where, multiple times, where we call it dumpster diving. Somebody will come up, they go, I just threw my cell phone away, or I just threw my keys away. You know, I mean, we're not going to go, oh, tough. No, we call it dumpster diving, because we move our trash so quickly, it could be out in the dumpster that quick. And we many times have been up to here in trash. And the most memorable example I had is we had to go retrieve a retainer for someone in the trash. That's a double whammy. I found it. And so anyway, so some of that's good. So, but there are many ways that we can be hospitable. Just think out of the box, and we really try to empower our team to do that. So, again, creating raving fans, operational excellence, second mile service, and now the third tier is to create an emotional connection with our guests and with the community. You know, earlier I talked about every life has a story. I'm going to try to tell this story real quick. I'll call him Bob. This customer would go to breakfast every morning to one of our competitors, and he heard Chick-Fil-A serves breakfast. He's like, really? So I'll go try breakfast. And so he did, and he didn't get a chicken biscuit. He got the sausage, egg, and cheese biscuit, which is fine. And so he's like, wow, this is pretty good. So he started visiting us with his wife every single day, and I mean every day, every day. And so about, maybe 6-8 months later, of course, we got to know Bob and his wife. Well, he came in without his wife one day. I was like, hey, she's in the hospital. So to make a long story short, about a couple of months later, maybe 3 or 4 months later, she passed away. Now, he came in that next morning, and he shared it with us. We just so happened, we had a leadership meeting over here in the corner, and there was probably 7 or 8 of us that just got around him, surrounded him, loved on him, just encouraged him. A couple of us went to her funeral. It just meant so much to him. Well, he continued coming to us. And to this day, I guarantee you, he came already twice, I'm not kidding, for breakfast and lunch. I can tell you exactly where he sits. Walk to the double doors. He's right here on the left, two tables down. Every single day. Now, what's cool about this, we have a Christmas tree every year, and we take pictures of all of our team members and make them into ornaments and put them all over our tree. If you ever come into our restaurant at Christmas time, you'll see that. Well, Bob, not his real name, we made an ornament for him, took his picture, and put it on at the top of our tree, and we adopted him. And this past Christmas, we have always do a big, huge Christmas party for our team, where we give away a lot of, big stuff for our team, and it's just a big shindig. We've invited this guy, and he came. He was like, "Oh, absolutely, I'm coming." And we surprised him. We just had a little plaque made that said, like, Customer of the Year, Chick-Fil-A Guard of the Gods, So this really made him feel special. And so he's just taken back. And so we've really adopted him into our family. I can give you so many examples like that. For the sake of time, I won't be able to. But it really does illustrate that maybe that little... Oh, let me say this real quick. Back on the taste and how important taste is and quality, that has to be number one. So when he was at the competitor for breakfast every morning, and he heard that Chick-fil-A serves breakfast, he's like, okay, I'll give it a shot. What if, and we always tell this to our team, our leadership team. What if he would have come in that morning and maybe we just were off our game? Maybe the kitchen person, like, yeah, I was tired this morning, I was up late last night, and, just indifferent on preparing the sandwich, and he takes a bite of it, and he's like, I don't see what the big deal is. What's all this fuss about Chick-Fil-A? And he left, never came back, continued with the competitor. We missed out on an opportunity to make a difference in the life of someone. And you could have looked back and said, because of the lack of quality, because we didn't execute way back 6, 8, 10 months ago. So that's a good illustration as to why quality and taste of the food is the most important. So that's Every Life. That's the story, or creating an emotional connection within with an individual, but now creating an emotional connection. Come on up, Linda. I'm going to have her share just briefly. We love the community, and so I'm going to let her share a little bit about what we do in the community.
Yeah, we do love the community, and that's really, for us, it's the icing on the cake, as he had mentioned, having all of the operational aspects in place, selling chicken so that we can do what we love doing. And just as in the case of Bob, who we call Bob, we get to celebrate in deaths, and we also get to celebrate in births of our employees. And so we just, a few months ago, celebrated with someone who had been praying to have a baby, and we got to celebrate with them, and I think it was the 1-year-old, their 1-year birthday party. So it's a joy for us to really get to be a part of those types of things with our customers, and just as we said, we really just adopt some of them. They just become a part of fabric of who we are and what we do. But Randy talked about the community. Really it started, we do a lot of different things, to serve the community. But back in Littleton, when we operated the one there where Sean was familiar with us back then, Randy had come to me and we noticed we were in Jefferson County. And so a lot of the officers from Jefferson County Sheriff's Department, they would come into our store and he would see them frequently, and Randy would say, gosh, we really need to do something for these men and women because, they're faithful customers and they serve our community. And so he just started talking to me about that. And so what came of that was we started an event. We called it a 9/11, September 11th tribute, where we honored the fire, police, and military. And so at our store, what we would do is we would invite these people, staff from the Sheriff's Department, also the Fire Department, West Metro Fire Department there in the Denver area, and they would bring their fire trucks, they would bring patrol trucks. We landed a Flight for Life helicopter. We had a bomb squad with a little robotic unit.
Didn't blow up anything though. Why?
It was so cool. And so we would bring these things out, and the proceeds would go towards West Metro Fire at the time, but it would give kids and families an opportunity to get an inside look to see what we call our local heroes. What do these people do, these men and women, how they serve our community and what they do for us. And so that was one of the major events that had started there. Then when we moved here and opened Garden of the Gods, we brought the event here, and it became more of a citywide event, and we hosted it on the west end of the city, and we called it the Patriots Festival and the Ride for Heroes. We had a marketing director at the time who taught spin classes at the YMCA. She said, can we add a bike ride, a 14 and a 28-mile course? And so anyway, it just grew from there. What was really special about it is we had actually hosted it at Glen Erie for a couple of years. Then we had, many of you are familiar with the Waldo Canyon fire and how that came into our community. It was very devastating. Well, Glen Erie had told us that particular year, we're sorry, you guys can't host this year. And this was maybe a couple months before the event. They said, you cannot host it here because there's the risk of flooding. After the burn area, there's a huge risk of flash flood, and we can't have thousands of people out on the green. So you'll need to find another location. So we ended up landing over near Trailblazer Elementary. We were there on the west side, and what really made it neat was that the community welcomed us. They said, we'd love to have your event here because this is part of our healing process for what we have gone through, because many people had lost their homes in the fire, and so they had been through quite a bit. So for us, it became even more meaningful. But that was one of the events that we did for a season. You know, sometimes you will do things for a few years, a season of time, and we laid that aside. But our really fun event that we do every year is, and by the way, we would support the fire, police, and military. We do the same thing, but we donate money to charity. But anyway, what we do now is a Skate for Free Chicken event. You know, many of you are familiar when a new Chick-Fil-A opens and they have a camp out, and all the people camp out to be the first 100 customers in the door. Well, someone came up with the concept of, well, how do we celebrate our first anniversary at Chick-Fil-A at Garden of the Gods? Well, let's do, instead of camping out, let's skate all night, roller skate around the parking lot. So literally, we partnered with Skate City, and we had over 100 people skating around our parking lot. As this event began to evolve, we said, you know what, let's do this for a cause, let's bring in a charity. And so what they do is they'll, we just this past year we said, yeah, let's not skate all night, let's skate till midnight. So we made it a little easier for the people that aren't as hardcore. So anyway, but the exciting thing is that our charity is Angels of America's Fallen, and they support the children of our fallen fire, police, military. And they come alongside, typically it's a single mom, and they'll come alongside them and be able to fund an activity of choice for that boy or girl all the way through the age of 18, and it puts them with somebody in a mentoring capacity, and especially keeps them from being at-risk kids. And so anyways, we're passionate about this particular charity based here in the Springs, but it is nationwide. And so the skaters know when you skate, you know, when you register to skate, you're registering to also raise money for Angels of America's Fallen. And so we've raised about $65,000 for this charity in the past few years. And the skaters, what they'll do is they'll send a link online to their friends or family and say, hey, this is what I'm doing. And it gets really exciting, it's fun, and we do it in early November. And we do have some UCCS students that participate, because everybody, the catch is you get free Chick-Fil-A for a year. So who's not going to skate, raise money for charity if you get free chicken? So that's one of the creative, out-of-the-box, Randy talked about out-of-the-box things that we do. But you know, at the end of the day, you know, the scripture tells us that to whom much is given, much is required. And we feel, you know, that we want to leave a legacy, and it's important to us, in addition to selling chicken, to be able to touch the lives of people and to touch those in the community. And that's, like I said, that's the icing on the cake for us. And we are grateful for the opportunity and honored to be able to help and serve people when we can do that.
That's awesome.
Thank you. Isn't she beautiful? There's a reason I like this one. So you get an idea there how important it is to create an emotional connection, not only with our guests, but also with the community. Love doing that. Okay, so real quick, I'm going to move through this real fast. How are we doing on time here? Almost done. Okay. Talking about serving our guests, but I want to very quickly talk about probably the most overlooked opportunity, and that is serving each other within an organization. It doesn't matter what organization you work for, what your responsibilities are, whether you work for corporate, whether you work for a hotel, whether you work for a restaurant, a ministry setting, have your own business. If we take the approach that we're here to serve one another, that's huge. I like what our CEO said years ago. He said, by the way, that our corporate office is called the Support Center. And so they're not serving chicken, they're offering support to us operators. And he said, if you're not, he told the corporate staff, if you're not serving chicken, you better be serving someone who is. Perfect example of that in our restaurant is the back of house, needs to serve the front of house because we're serving the guests, so they need to produce the food for us. So we may have a bagger who, they're equal, bagger and a back of the house employee, they're equal employees, we're waiting, a guest is waiting on a club, and it's like at 4 or 5 minutes, which is too long, and so, you know, they might look into the sheet and say, hey guys, we're waiting on a club. Now that back a house employee could say, talk to me like that, you know, my boss, you know. Well, actually, if we can understand and have a servant mentality from the back to the front, serve the front so we can serve the guest, it just makes everything so much more healthy. So, later that afternoon, the front person can go back and help, maybe wash dishes or scrub the floors back in the kitchen. It is a two-way street. It might be like, and by the way, take these examples. You can certainly apply them in whatever it is that you do. Like, you know, let's say you happen to work for in the hotel industry. Maybe you're the owner of the hotel. It doesn't matter. And you have a hospitality staff. Obviously their job is to keep the hotel clean. Well, if you park your car and you're walking in, you see a piece of trash over here on the ground, why not go pick it up? Having a servant mentality. Why? Well, if you pick up that piece of trash, that's one less thing that the hospitality person has to do. So, again, it doesn't matter what you do. Let's say you're in a ministry capacity. I know some of you, I think, are here to work for different churches. You're associate pastor, children's pastor, music director, business director, or volunteer. Ask him, how can I serve? You know, I'm only working for the nursery, so that's all I'm going to do. No. How can you serve each other? Perfect example of that, real quick, is I'm on the worship team in my church. And I love, his name's Brady, and he plays guitar. And it's not uncommon for him, if the sound guy would, you know, come up to a dead mic, they'll pull that guitar off, go grab the mic, and he's, you know, or if the cable's bad, he's just, and so the sound guy isn't having to go back and forth. He just has a heart to serve, and I think, you know, Brady is such a good example of that. You know, I think a servant's heart can be measured by how eagerly we respond to an area of need that's not necessarily our area of responsibility. I would also argue that having a servant spirit is contagious, and it really will emanate throughout the entire organization. So I close with this. Whether you're serving customers, in business for yourself, in leadership within any organization, or you're serving with co-workers in an organization, when performing your daily tasks, I encourage you to ask yourself, what can I do to take my service to another level? Ask yourself, is what I'm doing right now from the perspective of serving others and my heart helping propel this business I'm a part of, or this ministry that I'm a part of, for specific ministry purposes or to increase profitability, whatever it is. A perfect example of this is, you know, the little Chick-Fil-A sauces that we have? You know, everybody loves our Chick-Fil-A sauce. Those cost us $0.10 each. That's my cost. So if somebody says, oh, I'd like to buy Chick-Fil-A sauces, that's 50 cents. Our cost, that's really expensive. Well, oh, yes, you know, and so.
That's why it's surprising.
I know, exactly. Yeah, and so if our team members are not having a servant mind to serve the organization, if you will, and it was like, oh, whatever, here's 3 sauces. Now, you ask us for 5 sauces, we're going to give it to you. But it's 1 sauce for 8 nuggets, 2 sauces for 12. So, for those of you, and I know I used to think this way before I got into the business, it's like, look, just give me enough sauces. Why you know, just 1 extra sauce for an 8 nugget per year costs our business $15,000. So it really adds up. So you never know. It's like if you just do what the procedures, I'm going to have a servant mind to this organization so that we can be more profitable, serve more people, and so forth. If you have people reporting to you, many of you I think here have your own business, you have people reporting to you. Finding ways to serve them. How do you do that? Rewarding them. Display appreciation to them. Maybe it's a gift card to a restaurant. Chick-Fil-A. Did I say that? Maybe it's offering them cash. Maybe it's specific affirmation. And if you're going to affirm someone, don't just, you know, good job. No, be specific. Hey, I noticed when you talked to that guest, you really connected with that guest. Thank you for representing Chick-fil-A the way that you do. close with this. True Kathy always said, he passed away a couple of years ago at like 93 years old. He always said this, how do you know someone needs encouragement? If they're breathing. If they're breathing. Close with the scripture, Colossians 3:23. Whatever you do, work at it with all your heart as working for the Lord and not for men. So, I'd like to open it if there's time. Open it up for questions. Yes, sir.
I have one question. When you talked about needing to get to hire smart, with the smile and all the other things, obviously sometimes someone slips through.
That's never happened to us.
So what is your philosophy at that point? Do you just say, it's not working, go? Or do you say, here's what we would require, try to help them get that concept? Or what I'm trying to ask is trainable or not?
What we do is, your question is a great question because that really is hard, especially if it's somebody that, they're trying to make ends meet, and that's where it really gets difficult. Generally speaking, we do have a coaching process. Here's what I tell our leadership team. So if we meet every Monday morning, and if somebody has an issue with Bob, and they're wanting to let Bob go, well, obviously we have a write-up process, but then I always say, have we had a conversation, before we even write them up, have we had a conversation so they know what the expectation is? Have we done our job as leaders so that they know where they need to improve? If we've done our job, and if we've effectively communicated with that employee, if we have to at some point let them go, it shouldn't be a surprise. And here's the other thing where it's really hard. I remember I had to let somebody go. I know their parents, their sibling still works as a part of our leadership team. They are fast. I mean, they're just like, get it done. But they're very gruff. They're gruff sometimes, especially with fellow team members. And I actually went way too far in being patient with this person. But when we let them go, I did it in such a way that you just honor. Our goal is to treat everybody with honor, dignity, and respect, no matter what the circumstance is. And so, as they left, there was not any animosity. Now, sometimes you can't control a reaction, but as long as there's no surprise, they understand, and that they know where they needed to improve, and they didn't. We document, back on such and such date, we had this conversation this date, we had a conversation this date, we had a conversation, you sign the documentation. And here's the other thing, is you're fired, you're out of here. Okay, great. The way to do that is to say, look, I really believe you're going to be successful in life. This just really isn't the best fit for you. We've talked about this, doesn't mean you're a bad person, but just within our organization, this really just isn't going to be the best fit. Stay in touch. Let us know how you're doing. I really want to know. I want you to finish school or just whatever it is you want to do. We want you to be successful in life. And we hope that this time, and this is what I told this person just within the last couple of months. I said, I hope that you will look way back in 2018 and years from now and say, that moment when you let me go is what helped propel me to be better now in the year 2025 or whatever it is. And so that's kind of our approach. We're not perfect at it. Now if somebody's been with us 5 minutes, we may move them on pretty quick. But if they've been with us for a while, there is a coaching process. Sorry for the lengthy answer. Any other questions? Yes, sir.
How frequently do you re-engage your 4 principles of service with the staff?
Man, that's a great question. Not enough. We meet usually every, a minimum once a year. Sometimes it'll be like 9 months, and what we'll do is on a Sunday. Thank God we're closed on Sundays, because it'd be really hard to do it otherwise because of the number of staff that we have. But we'll bring everybody in, order pizza, and bring everybody in and go over any improvement areas that we need and so forth. And what I do is I or one of my team will go through some of this. But also, here's the thing. What I like to do is explain the why. Why do we approach service the way that we do? why are we Chick-fil-A, at Chick-fil-A approach service the way that we do? So it's not just because I said so. If we can get them to understand the why, that makes it so much easier for them to execute in those areas. So it's not just this facade or this fake thing. And so at least once a year, and we have huddles. Boy, this is really hard. We have huddles throughout the day. Our leadership team is supposed to have huddles with the team. And again, a bus walks in, people are lined out the door. It's very hard. But we will try to tie in coaching opportunities, proactive and reactive, and tie it into who we are, our corporate purpose, and why we approach things the way that we do. Yes, sir.
Regarding the minimum wage increases that are coming,
Mm-hmm.
how do you expect that will affect pricing in your
Oh,
restaurant?
boy. Okay. So, here's really the bottom line. We are a for-profit business. And if you want to make the minimum wage $100, I encourage you, make it $100 an hour. Let's do it. Let's just get it over with, and let's just make minimum wage $100 an hour. And that's fine. You're going to serve, the Chick-fil-A sandwich is going to be $45. I mean, we are going to make a profit. We have a specific profit margin that we, in order to stay in business, to impact the lives of more people, to feed my beautiful wife and our family and so forth, we will make a profit. You know, and unless the government comes in and starts saying price fixing or whatever, that would be a bad day. But January 1st, we had a price increase. January 1st year before, had a price increase. We're going to have another one. Normally it would be in January. We're actually going to do it in August because there's some other cost, things are going up in other areas. We'll have another price increase in August. And that'll be for minimum wage in 2019. And then in 2020, when it goes up, I think it's going to, for now, it's going to rest at $12 an hour. There'll be a price increase. And so, you know, it's people. A lot of people don't realize that when you raise minimum wage, it's fine. And I get all the reasons. I'm not here to debate all that and why. But we will raise our prices so that we are able to be profitable. So it does spread that around. Does that answer your question? Don't want to take up too much time, so I want to be...
I've got one question.
Yes,
if you don't
sir.
mind. So you talked about everybody having a voice, a lot of times having ideas. You know, you guys have been in business for a long time, so you've heard a lot of these ideas. And these new team members coming in, how do you still value the person without saying, oh, we've already tried that, you know, we've already done that. You know, how do you still value those ideas, value that person, but yet let them know, hey, we've been doing this a long time, and there are some things that we have seen and we've tried, and these don't work.
Yeah, first of all, we're not perfect at it. Depending on like our leadership's approach, leadership style, you know, last thing we ever want to do is shut down someone's ideas so quickly.
Yeah.
Our goal is to treat everybody with honor, dignity, and respect. And I think there's an art to that. And it can be something as simple as, wow, listen, first of all, thank you. You've been here for only 2 weeks and you're already coming up with ideas. That's what we're looking for, because it's not about me. It's about you guys because of the ideas you have. That's what's made us successful. Thank you for bringing that concept to us. About 2-3 years ago, we actually tried that, and we found out we had to move back in this direction. But listen, keep coming up with those ideas. Let us know where we can improve. We need you guys to think out of the box and help us improve. So thank you for coming up with that. Don't stop coming up with those ideas. Something like that.
Any other questions before we wrap up? All right. Randy, thank you so much. Get ready.